You think getting in shape is the real prize. You think you're the man because you managed to grow 4 abdominal muscles before holiday and took a couple half decent photos down at the day club. Look, getting lean for 6 weeks, it doesn't mean that you've mastered your body. It means that you've managed to behave yourself because you had a holiday booked. And then the second that you get home, everything goes out the window. The training, the routine, the structure. You all just slowly start undoing everything. And it's like a yo-yo, okay, where you get in shape and you lose it, and you get in shape and you lose it. And that was me, okay? I used to be known for that geezer who would get in shape for a summer holiday. It's time to up the cardio. It's time to go hard in the gym. It's time to lock back in on the diet and start getting back into things. And then I'd get lean and I'd go away and maybe take a couple photos, maybe pull a couple girls, and then I'd just slowly drift backwards again. And the thing is, even when I looked good, I still felt shit inside because I kept seeing fitness as a temporary phase. Okay, I hadn't become the man. I just temporarily borrowed the body. But everything changed when I stopped seeing fitness as something you do and I started seeing it as a part of who I was. Because that's the thing with most men, okay, and their physique journey. Like, it looks like this. It looks like a wave where there's ups and there's downs and ups and downs and, you know, cut for summer and then you just end up looking soft over winter and it's just, you just keep losing the body. And yeah, you just keep losing control and you keep starting your transformation journey over and over again and you're just spending your entire life trying to get back to that version that you've already been before. Now, guys, obviously your body is going to fluctuate over time. There's going to be periods where you're looking to build muscle. There's going to be periods where you're looking to shred down a little bit, to refine things. But your baseline, it should always be rising. Okay, every year your worst shape should be better than your worst shape the year was before. And it should only keep growing, guys. Your standards should only keep growing. This doesn't just apply in your body, but in your career, in your relationships, in your routine, in your mindset, in your standards. Everything should be moving upwards. Like, we ain't chasing abs around here. We are chasing self-mastery. We are building ourselves into the most capable men possible, physically, mentally, spiritually, financially. Okay, we want to be building ourselves into bulletproof machines. Yeah, we want to have that 365 standards. And when I say the 365 standards, guys, I mean you adapt, you prioritize what matters. Like, I'm not saying you need to be walking around dick skin shredded. You don't need to be stage lean and dehydrated and just looking like a gaunt fuck with limp dick. I'm talking about just holding yourself to a standard, that lean athletic look, like year round, a lifestyle physique. I'm talking anywhere from 10 to 12% body fat. Like, you need to have visible abs year round. You want to look good in your clothes. You want to look just as good without them. Okay? You need to be building muscle. You need to be high energy. You want to be moving on a weekly basis forward. Yeah, like, you want to start seeing it as a lifestyle. And when I say that, guys, like, we don't want to be living like a monk. Yeah, we want to be able to go out with the nice meals with the missus, with your family. We want to be able to travel and still stay on track. Like, we just don't want to drift. We don't want to slip off and lose sight of our mission, of our standards. Like, you should not need 3 months of notice to feel confident, to stay lean, to stay ready. You need to be ready 365 days a year, 24/7, okay? You got a holiday booked tomorrow. Cool, I'm ready. Someone whips a camera out. Cool, I'm ready. A night out with the lads. Cool, I'm ready. Yeah, you got that bicep vein pressing against the skin. That is what it's about. You have the confidence. You're just looking like a fucking stud. That is the standard. Yeah, that is not vanity. That is literally self-respect. You're just building yourself into the man who has the energy for his parents, for his future kids, for his wife, for his partner, for your own mission, for you. Yeah, like, you want to be better than everyone else around you. And there is nothing wrong with that. Like, society these days have got rid of that competitive edge. Okay, we're living in a world where they tell you to stop growing. But I'm telling you now, if you've gotten in shape before and you still feel empty inside, the simple truth is you weren't growing internally. Okay, that is the killer. Everyone talks about the physical side, but no one talks about the eternal side, like the internal game. That is what it's all about. That's where it starts, guys. It starts by deciding who the fuck you're building, who the fuck you actually want to be. Like, ask yourself the question. If I ask you the question, do you know? Not what your primary focus is right now, not building muscle, not losing body fat, none of that, guys. Like, I'm talking about, what does that 10x version of you look like? Yeah, like, men say they want to look better. Men say they want to get a bit leaner. Gay, guys. Okay, gay. Like, get clear on the direction that you're heading. And this is why most people drift, because they have no goals. Now, I was actually reading a book recently, a great book actually, and it was telling me, or it said, that every man should aim to have 5,000 plus goals in their lifetime. Okay, and people will hear that and say, that's absolutely ridiculous. But if you want to build an extraordinary life, if you want to build an elite body, and you've only got 3 goals, 3 vague goals, like, for instance, earn money, get in shape, be happy, that's shit. Yeah, you need to actually build yourself into the man. You need to have that ridiculous detail. What does his body look like? How lean is he? How much muscle does he carry? Where are the veins on his arm? What clothes does he wear? What does his posture look like? How does he speak? How does he train? How does he eat? Okay? How does he respond when life throws some crazy, unexpected shit at him? Because it is. Okay, life will. That's the reality, guys. Like, it's going to happen. Yeah, unexpected things are going to happen. So you need to get clear on the man you're actually building, and you need to start behaving like him, because you don't want to act out of alignment. And this is actually what I call my identity calibration process. This is my AM process. I actually do this every morning, where I write down my goals. I review them throughout the day, and even I just visualize how I'm actually going through my day. Okay? Not because writing them down is going to somehow magically manifest all this ritual bollocks that you see online, and suddenly a Lambo's going to appear and I'm going to have 10 kilos of muscle overnight. No, it just keeps me aligned, and it reminds me where I'm going with my body, with my coaching, with my business, with my entire life right now. Like, I know where I'm going. Yeah, I know where I'm going with my physique. I know where I'm going. I know that the weight I'm aiming towards, the body fat percentage I'm working towards. I know the man and his standards, and where that physique actually belongs, because the body, it isn't separate from the identity, okay? It's part of it. Like, you're chasing a great body, but you're also designing the complete man in all areas, yeah? And every decision you're making is either pulling you further away from that guy, it's delaying that guy, or it's literally building you into him. But once you actually design the man, then you've got to get clear on where you're actually going, okay? You need to actually start building the operating system, and you need to actually start just moving forward, guys, moving forward with that vision, because vision without execution, it's mental masturbation. And for me, holding that standard 365 days of the year, it comes down to 4 things that I'm going to run through, okay? And now these 4 things, they're not complicated, but if you miss one of them, eventually everything will start failing. Because the first is very simple, guys. Okay, the first is very simple. You need to stay in motion. Yeah, we want consistent movement. And this means we need to actually keep moving the body every single day. And it also means that we refuse to become stagnant when life throws shit at you. And what do I mean by that? Just not growing, okay? Like, we actually need to adapt. We actually need to move forward. Because if you stop moving, if you start drifting, and your training slips and your food choices, they get worse, and that routine disappears, before you know it, you are literally that old identity again. And it starts creeping back in. And that's how it used to be for me, even when I got in shape, okay? When my routine slipped, when I didn't have my AM process and I wasn't hitting my macros, I would slip off around summer, and I just feel like that skinny fat, that depressed, anxious kid that I was a few years ago, before I even started this whole fitness journey. And that's not where you want to be. You always want to be moving forward. We always want to be keeping sharp physically. And one of the biggest things for me, for years, guys, that kept that year-round standard is the simple habit of walking. Yeah, like getting your fucking steps in, guys. You know, I get questions all the time over on my Insta, like, how many steps do I need to do a day to get lean? Like, the bare minimum is 10K, okay? It's non-negotiable. Like, if you can't get 10K steps a day, you're just being lazy. It's that simple. It is literally the easiest thing in the world. Like, if you have to, jump on the treadmill after your gym session. Yeah, maybe put an audiobook on. Be feeding the mind constantly, like for 20 minutes. Just do that and you'll hit it. Okay, like I recommend it, guys. But what I recommend is just going for more walks on your own in nature. Maybe somewhere nice, depending on where you live. Maybe a beach, maybe a forest, could be a park, whatever, guys, okay? Just get your steps in. And don't say you don't have the time. Like, if you have the time to scroll Insta, to watch porn and wank yourself into a coma, you defo have the time to get some walks in. You know, maybe first thing in the morning, maybe after your meals, that maybe you need to build that into a habit. Maybe on your lunch break at work. Like, there's defo periods where you can get them in. And I used to hit 25, 30K a day, in all honesty. And honestly, it's completely unnecessary. But the amount of mental clarity that I got, the amount of time I had to work on myself during that walking time, that was a game changer. And that really built me into the man that I feel like I'm slowly becoming. I feel like I'm only 1% in. But you want that consistent level of movement to keep your energy high, to keep your digestion high, just to keep your body functioning and your head clear, okay? So staying in motion is a lot bigger than just fat loss and just daily movement. It's how you're actually operating through life when work gets busy, when travel, when the routine maybe gets disrupted, when you maybe lose someone close, because that can happen, guys. Like, something unplanned could happen. That's what I've come to realize on this earth. And most people, they use that as a permission to just stop and just sack everything off and wait till life slows down again. No, you need to actually learn to move forward through the chaos. Yeah, you need the preparation, you need adaptability. Like, maybe you're traveling, cool, fine. Book a place with a gym nearby that has high quality equipment. Maybe, I don't know, you can't hit the meal plan, cool. Prioritize the protein and the calories, and you just control what you can. But you don't abandon the mission, you don't abandon the standards because the conditions aren't perfect, guys, yeah? The plan can change, but the standards, they always stay. Like, you just keep pushing forward, you keep walking forward. And that is what 365 is, guys. Yeah, it doesn't mean being perfect every single day, but it actually just means becoming the man who actually just keeps himself in motion every single day. Now, the second thing to the 365 standards is progressive training, okay? You need to know what you're actually trying to build and exactly how your training is actually moving towards it, okay? So no more random workouts, no more walking into the gym and just choosing whatever's easiest and choosing arms every single time, or choosing exercises based on how you feel, or whatever's free. You need to actually follow a proper plan that is designed for your current body, for the areas that you actually want to work on. And we want to be tracking the lifts. Yeah, we want to be focusing on the execution, the tempo. We actually want to be training with real intensity and just progressively getting stronger within them kind of movements. Yeah, like, that's what we want to be seeing. We actually want to be building a physique. You need to be training like a savage, guys. Yeah, that's the reality. You need to actually be building an attractive, well-proportioned body. You want the broad shoulders. You want the developed chest. You want the muscular arms. You want that tight waist look. Just proper aesthetics. That is the best kind of look, that movie star look, the look that you see on the screens. Nothing crazy. We ain't trying to be Arnold. We ain't trying to be some mass bodybuilder. But you do need muscle. Yeah, like, men want confidence. They want presence. They want women to actually notice them. So we actually need to actually look physically capable, and we need to be maintaining roughly 10% body fat. That is usually where I like to keep most of my clients and myself, even just in a performance phase. Yeah, that is the standard, guys, okay? Like, anywhere from 10 to 12% body fat. That is non-negotiable for every single guy, okay? Now, the next thing I actually wanted to talk about is we must feed the machine. Okay, like, training your body, it's going to give it a reason to grow, but you still got to give it the good shit. You actually just got to feed it properly. And this is where most men fuck up. They want to get lean, they want to get aesthetic, they want to build a sick physique, and they want the energy and the sharp mind and to perform well, you know, maybe run a business and actually be switched on all day, yet they're not fueling themselves properly. They're fueling themselves with cereal and all this processed shit and packet and pints on the weekend like a fucking loser. Like, no, guys, okay? Like, they're feeding whatever they can get their hands on when they're hungry. You cannot expect a Ferrari performance if you're fueling your body like a fucking dustbin. Yeah, this was the biggest switch over for me. Okay, this is what actually changed my body. This is when I stopped guessing and I just stopped just tracking calories and opting for whatever was so-called healthy in the supermarket, whatever was the low-calorie option. And I just grew some fucking bollocks and I switched over to the Whole Foods lifestyle. Okay, that is the standard, the 100-0 rule around here. Yeah, that you actually want to adopt that, guys. If you actually want me to send over the framework of the food sources that I literally build all my meals around, I've built all my meals around for the last 2 to 3 years. Just DM me the words macros over on my Insta and I'll send it over to you. But that was the switch for me. That was the switch for me in my physique, in my gym performance, in my energy, in my focus, in my mental clarity. Because even when I used to track calories, okay, you're getting a lot of these coaches online telling you to track calories. I still had the mood dips. I still had the swings and the afternoon dips and the headaches and all of this. And when I actually got my nutrition aligned with my body, the body that I wanted, the life that I wanted, that was the biggest shift, guys. Like, I don't care where you are right now. I don't care if you're trying to strip the body fat. I don't care if you're trying to build muscle. I don't care if you're trying to maintain. You need to fuel your body like a machine. Okay, like Whole Foods is crack cocaine to the system. Yeah, you actually want to be powering through life. You want to be in flow. That is what it's about. So you actually just need to get your macros aligned with your goals to actually perform at your best in the gym, okay? We actually want a consistent, repeatable setup. And that is how I would go about it if you actually want that year-round standards. Just find the foods that you like, the meals that you enjoy, that digest well, and just structure it into your lifestyle. And it's that simple, guys. Okay, like where you're currently at right now. And that guarantees that you're moving forward with your goals and you're just not spinning wheels for years, which I was. Okay, like that's what I was doing. I just end up usually just eating all this shitty food and feeling like shit and then binging again. And no, we don't want that, guys. We always want to be moving forward. Okay, most guys, they don't have a knowledge problem. They already know what they need to eat. They know they need to eat the lean meats. They know they need to eat the fruits. They know they need to eat the healthy fats. They know 8 pints and a kebab is simply not optimal for fat loss, yet they choose based on emotion, they choose based on how they feel. And they do all this minus eating. Okay, that is probably the biggest thing that most guys I speak to and all my clients have suffered with is that mindless eating. Okay, you need to actually kill this. You need to actually stop being a pussy and just have some standards and some discipline. Like when someone offers you a jam donut at work, you just say no, I'm good. I'm gonna just eat my meal plan that I bought into work. I'm gonna hit my macros. Okay, like because I actually want to get somewhere. I have that North Star vision in my head. So fuck the average, guys. Okay, like just let them eat whatever they want. Let them eat the bacon sarnie. Okay, like do not let people control how you feel. Like people will say you're obsessed. People will say that you need to relax, that you need to enjoy yourself. But to me, needing alcohol and takeaways and just having a complete lack of structure, that's retarded to me, and that seems more obsessive to me. It's that simple, guys. Like, and that doesn't mean you can never go out. That doesn't mean you can't go on holiday and have the odd cheat meal here and there. I don't like to use that word, but you need to actually just think of the bigger picture here. Yeah, like at the end of the day, your food is either going to support the mission or it's going to slow it down. So just make sure you're eating whole foods. Make sure you're actually fueling your body properly. That is going to be the biggest game changer for you guys. Stop following the sheep. Again, every meal doesn't have to be perfect. I might have the odd off-plan meal here and there. Off-plan, yeah, not cheat meal. But the structure is just going to add to it, okay? Hit your macros, guys. Base your diet around whole foods and just fuel your training and your recovery and just feed the machine properly. But here's the thing. To me, you can have the perfect plan. But if you're still the same bloke who has to execute it, unfortunately, that bloke, he can be a little manipulative bastard, guys, when he's tired, when he's hungry, when he's not seeing the results quickly. And this is where accountability and proximity comes in. Now, I myself have a coach, and I believe, well, I'll have a coach to the day I die, so the day I'm still breathing. It's that simple, guys. Like, do I technically need a coach? No, like, of course I could do it on my own. But doing everything on your own, number one, it's going to take way longer. Number two, you're just guessing every decision and you're just repeating the same mistakes that someone already ahead of you could have simply fixed and helped you to avoid that. And it's that simple, guys. They just keep you on track. That is the power of proximity. People misunderstand coaching. They think it's, there you go, there's your macros, there's your meal plan, there's your training program. And to me, it's so much more than that, okay? It actually just gives you that precision. It actually just keeps you aligned when your emotions are trying to negotiate with you, with the plan, guys. It just keeps you on track 365 days a year. And yeah, it just gives you someone ahead who has already made their mistakes time and time again, which I, by the way, have spent years, like literally years, wasting, doing all this hybrid shit, doing all this crash dieting and stuff like that, trying to figure it out, thinking I could do it all myself. And it just didn't work, guys. I was just stuck spinning wheels, okay? Like, when you actually have that accountability, you know the plan, you know exactly what you're working towards, and the only job is simply to execute every single day. That is how you literally time collapse the timeline. That is literally how you 10x your results, and you don't waste time and you don't waste energy, and you just get there with speed. And that is what the entire 365 standards comes down to, because most people, they're trying to get in shape and maybe they get lean and then they lose it, and then they get lean again and then they lose it. And just every time you're constantly restarting this brand new transformation, and it's just fucking stupid, guys. Okay, like, you already proved you can get there. The problem is never proving you can't get there. You actually just need to build a life where you're capable of actually staying there. Okay, actually getting shredded and just staying there. Okay, not when there's a fucking deadline in place, and just holding yourself to the highest standard possible, proving that you can change for good, and no longer seeing fitness as a phase and just seeing it part as a lifestyle. That's the way I see it, guys, okay? We actually want to be building ourselves into the complete man, physically, mentally, spiritually, financially. Not for some fucking photo shoot, not for 6 weeks and a couple compliments when you get to Ibiza and then just disappearing back to the old version of you. But getting lean and staying ready. And you're aligned, guys, okay? 365 days a year. So I hope you took some value from this, guys. That's the fucking real prize. There's going to be a lot more content coming. If you've got any questions, you can fire me a message over on my Insta, Charlie Crawley Fit. But let's go, guys.